Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors the elders and apostles, the great millstone, who are teachers of truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Yakims out there in the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Raka the Yahweh, Raka the Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakadash, Rakatam. So, not going to get into this too much. This brother who put up this video kind of says it all, sums it up, but you know that there's been a flooding of poor Moab, poor me, these goddamn gooks that, think that they're now tasting some hate crimes, Well, like everything else, so I know that Trump didn't help things, the Chinese virus and, just a lot of these slurs, which Esau hates everyone, but, these Moabites, man, they ain't no fucking innocent at all, man. Have you ever been to Chinatown? You think that you're treated with respect or dignity? No, man, they look at you the one and the same as Esau Edom does, man. And they have the nerve to feed you rats and other shit, plastic rice. Fuck out of here, man. Playing that pity game, kind of like Amalek playing that pity game. You're anti-Semitic, if you ever expose what they do. So, the violin just keeps going about this. It, like everything else, though, it's to take the focus off of what's really going on. That we've woken up as to who we are. And so a lot of people want to get in on the kill and go after Esau Edom. So now it's these crazy rich Asians now all of a sudden are getting backlash. Because that's what they are, crazy rich Asians, these gooks. They really want to get in on this, and get on the pity party. Man, we ain't falling for this shit. Fuck you.
Call all Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem, Rekal Kadas, the ones to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone, shout out to those for LA. And what I would do is play the first clip. Then after that, I will go into how the way Moab is trying to join hands with the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Alright, now check out this first clip. Man, check this out.
His targets were no accident. And what we know is that this day was coming. And because of crimes like this, I, as chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, or CAPAC, urge the committee to undertake this hearing because the Asian American community has reached a crisis point that cannot be ignored. But what started out last January as dirty looks and verbal assaults has escalated to physical attacks and violence against innocent Asian Americans. And these attacks have increasingly become more deadly.
Comments like these only build upon the legacy of racism, anti-Asian sentiment, and insensitivity that seeks to divide our nation. So yes, I was deeply shaken by the angry currents in our nation. The heated discourse at the highest levels of our government cannot be viewed in isolation from the ensuing violence in our communities.
Okay, now y'all see that the Moabite woman said that she knew that this day would come. But anyway, Moab is catching hell. Ammonite as well. Alright, but Moab, chiefly Moab is getting their ass beat. And 8 of them got killed by the hands of Esau Edom. Now I'm saying, I said in my last video, well, a video that I made about Moab getting their ass beat, I said that mostly of the hate crimes is being done by Esau Edom, which so-called white men. And yes, a week later, 8 of them got gunned down, and 6 of them were so-called Chinese American women. So these curses is definitely hitting them, and now you got a thing where it's Moab versus Esau Edom. Now check out this picture that I'm about to show y'all right here. As y'all can see, you got Jake in the middle. That's not a tear, that's an Israelite right there in the middle, surrounded by heathens. Now I'm saying, and if you look at the top left, you will see that it says, now this is a Moabite holding up white terrorists. As you can see what the sign says, it says white terrorists, hate crime, mass shooting. Y'all see that, right? Now check out this next photo. Do y'all see what I see? To the mid left bottom of the screen, right? Do y'all see that? Let me zoom in for y'all. It says Black and Asian solidarity. So I look up that word solidarity, and it says unity or agreement of feeling or action, especially among individuals with a common interest, mutual support within a group. Let me tell y'all something, Moab. Shut the fuck up. All that shit you be talking, y'all think y'all the next rule, so on and so forth. Y'all been mocking the Israelites, calling us monkeys and shit like that, feeding us cat, dogs, and rats with some fucking rice. You know, I always ask myself, every time I get fucking chicken and fried rice, I'd be like, what part of the chicken is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what part of the chicken? That ain't no fucking chicken. I'm eating that shit. You know what I'm saying? When I'm young, I'm like, yo, this don't look like no fucking chicken. You know what I'm saying? Probably a fucking dog and cat I'm eating and shit. Man, look, y'all, listen. Y'all Moabites is getting it. And Esau Edom is kicking y'all ass right now. Like I said in the last video, most of the hate crime is being done by Esau Edom, the so-called white man who ass y'all been kissing. And today, I'm dealing with a Moabite, and man, they friendly as hell with Jake. Don't sit there and try and hold our hands. Of course, you're gonna always have a simple, stupid ass Israelite that's gonna goddamn join hand in hand. Well, both of y'all gonna be put to death. But anyway, this is just a report video. Now check out the rest of this video that I'm about to play. Check this out.
We cannot turn a blind eye to people living in fear. I want to go back to something that Mr. Roy said earlier. Your president and your party and your colleagues can talk about issues with any other country that you want, but you don't have to do it by putting a bullseye on the back of Asian Americans across this country, on our grandparents, on our kids. This hearing was to address the hurt and pain of our community and to find solutions, and we will not let you take our voice away from us.
Yeah, shut up. But anyway, as y'all can see, they going through it, they catching their hell. Who cares? I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? This is mainly a report video. As a matter of fact, let me get at least one scripture. This is mainly a report. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 48, verse 46. Woe be unto thee, O Moab. And that's all I gotta read. So the spirit is definitely kicking Moab ass right now. Don't worry about it. You other nations gonna get it too. Ammon. Oh, you next. You next, Ammon. Alright. You gonna get your retarded ass kicked too. But anyway, I'm just end it like that. This is just a report. Call on Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rekal Kadas, the monster, the elders, and the apostles of the great millstone, shall run to for LA. Moab, shut up.
So again, you know, Moab's trying to come in and say that they've been discriminated against, you know, they get called names, you know. Now, I'm not saying that Esau doesn't do that, but what I am saying, though, that ain't nothing as compared to what's happened to us. But nonetheless, though, this ain't all about Moab, but that's some of, you know, the headlines if you're fucking going through YouTube, trying to find us there. But, you know, meanwhile, Jim Crow Biden, who says that we must all be injected by May 1st, is really in on this campaign, you know, in this cancel culture, which is why most of my videos have been going to BitChute. You know, I tried to click on another brother's video on the subject, but and that, you can't even talk about it, man. You know, you can't talk about the jab, none of it. You know, you have to literally go to BitChute to find those videos, and well, that's what's really going on. So most of my videos are going to be there because that's what's really happening. You know, Everything else, though, is distractions. Like the gooks claiming that they're abused. Oh yeah, but you don't have to eat plastic rice. But that's what you sell in our neighborhoods. Piece of shit. It's hilarious, as to how hypocritical that is. Anyhow, nonetheless, though, this is Jim Crow Biden, the guy is supposed to save the day, the savior, the king of Babylon. But he's a fucking retard. And it's no wonder why they're calling on Donald Trump for help to try to inspire all of his supporters to take the jab. Because people really don't listen to Biden because they know they didn't vote for that piece of shit. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as they are born, speaking lies. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of funny that they have that card for him.
Now, recent history, and look at Joe Biden in 2012, and Joe Biden in 2016, and Joe Biden today. You decide. He sent me 2 letters saying, by the way, can you send me some stimulus money for companies here in the state of Wisconsin? We sent millions of dollars. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words. Now they got a new plan. Trust me, it's not going to cost you any more. Folks, follow your instincts on this. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go, you know the thing. They put one foot in front of the other. They keep going. That's the unbreakable spirit of the people of America. That's who we are. And Representatives Shirley Jackson Lee, Al Green, Sylvia Garcia, Lizzie Finelli, Finella, and what am I doing here? I'm going to lose track here.
Man, he just doesn't know how to read a script.
I'm losing track again. This is not a medical diagnosis. I'm not a doctor. I won't play one on TV. But it's pretty clear, transparent, it's obvious. That's not the same guy. What's the matter? Look at that. That is not even him. What in the world? The man got a fake mask. Y'all better wait.
So you hear it there, man. Man got a fake mask. And that's just it, Things are not what they seem. It's an illusion. You're living in an illusion, and the Lord of illusions is your television. Man, that's how they fooled everybody with this virus and got everybody on board. Because in order to take the jab, you'd have to believe the virus is real. And if the tests show that you tested positive, well, you think that's real too. You never question things like, are the tests real? So, taking a look at Elder Brother Malcolm and the financial collapse, and pretty much, though, what's happening is, they're phasing everything out, moving towards this new digital wave, Bitcoin soaring in prices. Although if you went to a coin store to go get your Bitcoin, you find out that your money has already been devalued. I've seen that with my own eyes, man. People are making a lot of money getting Bitcoin rich. But it ain't you. No, it's these people that are selling Bitcoin, They take right a lot off, from the very top. And that's what's happening, though, is people are getting rid of their fiat currencies and going for the digital currency. A digital wallet. That's what this pandemic has really been about, And again, catch me on BitChute, where I can talk more about these things, because again, I'm limited to what I can forward. I'm limited to what I can talk about. Again, and we do try to get the scriptures, to the best of our abilities, but you're going to read reports and you're going to talk about those things. It's all a part of prophecy because it always leads back to the scriptures. Nonetheless, though, this is what they're rolling out.
Shalom. Call Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Abishai Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity. risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, and to the Akwath that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And I'm going to play a portion of just a few minutes of this video from silverreportuncut.com, which is on YouTube, and he has other channels, other places, because, you know, just like everyone else, you can't really speak the full truth. Truth is now hate speech. All right, point blank period, because the truth does not benefit the powers that be, because the powers that be lied their way into rulership, and the truth reveals that they rule with fraud, that they rule with deceit, and that they're not who they claim to be. So anything that shines a spotlight on them is basically like, you know, putting a light in a dark room that's full of insects. They all scatter. All right, when the light comes on, they run. Okay, so it's just, you know, I'm gonna try to give you a lot of information in a very short period of time. You know, the video that I intended to do today was going to be a response to a video that was done about 8 months ago by two of the beloved elders, Elder Tazarwan and Elder Tazadakbar, two elders that I hold dear to my heart. Elder Tazadakbar, you know, his history. You know, people always, you know, say, you know, that Malcolm, the historian of the Great Millstone, you know, because, you know, that's, you know, I teach, most of my teachers I have through the Spirit have generated around history. But I only have that spirit because, well, first and foremost, Yahweh Shemal Shai gave it to me. But he also sent me an elder and a teacher like Elder Tazadakba, who I just, you know, real briefly, just, you know, share the story. On the first trip up top to go see the elders, I wanted to stay with Elder Tazadakba so badly. But, you know, the Spirit did what it did, and a couple other brothers end up staying with him. But, you know, because I wanted to pick his brain on history and see his books, and, you know, and because, you know, he was an elder that I took a fancy to because of his knowledge of history and the way he taught, you know. And the truth of the matter, all the men of the Great Millstone are historians, all the elders and the apostles. But, you know, I guess it's just the delivery and the memory, the way that Elder Tazadakbar is able to recall and remember history, you know, which is a gift, and I think that I have a small portion of that gift myself. But nevertheless, I ended up staying with Elder Tazarwan, Kazak, and I slept on his floor, you know, and just listen, and man, you talking about that brother? Look, the elder showed me order, man. We went out there to learn and spend time with the elders, but the real reason was for us to go out there to get ourselves in order, so that we become the men that we are now, to lead camps and be in the positions that we are in now. And that's, you know, and I had a good time with the elder. I really did. He, myself, and my beloved brother Kazak, we had a great time, man. We cooked for each other, you know. We broke bread. You know, the elder answered our questions, you know, and he just really, you know, some of the things, and he would be very stern, like, look, bro, you know, this is what it is. And, you know, and so I appreciate that. And I just wanted to share that with the family. Now let's get into this. All right. As you're looking on the screen, it's talking about inflation. And that's because the money is falling. I have a client that has been very, very stubborn. He's been very stubborn about listening, you know, when we start talking about finances and things that happens, because he's worked in finances. He's been a millionaire, you know, 2 times over, lost all his money, and now he's on the verge of losing it again. You know, because when he lost it again, I lost him as a client, you know, and he, you know, did his Edomite thing and got back in there and worked his way back up, hooking up with these other millionaires and billionaires and using their money, because that's what he was good at, using other people's money. Get, you know, and he got back up there, and I got him as a client again, and I've been telling him that they want to go digital and the system's going to fail, and he's been no, the market this and the market that, and I've been telling him all that stuff is manipulated and false, man, because guys like this, the Silver Report, he wouldn't pay attention to. Now he had a harsh dose of reality because he called me this morning. We were texting back and forth about his training appointment, and then he just called me. But before he does so, let me before I go into that, let me grab a quick scripture. This is Genesis 47 and 14. All right, and it says, and Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought. Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house, and when the money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And that's what's happening again. The money is failing. So if you have stashes of paper money, bricks of money, all your drug money, all your legal drug money or your illegal drug money, hid away in the safe and all that, you're gonna have nothing, man. You're going to have nothing. It's this place, look, and you're gonna actually need gold and silver. Now I'm not talking about certificates, gold and silver certificates. I'm talking about actual gold and silver. Now I don't own a whole bunch of gold. I got junk gold, a couple pieces of gold, gold jewelry, but silver, it makes a certain sound. And if you know what actual metal silver sounds like, that's the sound that it makes. It doesn't sound like a regular coin when it drops. All right. So if you don't have silver in hand, you're going to have nothing. Nothing. And don't think that that's going to save you. Just because you could maybe have a couple $1,000s worth of silver here and there, that's not going to save you either. It might feed you for a while, get you by, might even be able to pay somebody to spare your life to keep it moving. But at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to save you is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right. Now, before I get to what he told me, he broke down and realized that this digital thing is true. I'm going to play a few minutes of this video and grab a couple other scriptures. So,
going on with the Philly Fed data that just came out, it's really interesting. It looks like good news, and overall there is some good news in it, but it's just crazy what's happening right now with prices. It looks like we're in for some real trouble. So their business sentiment indicator, it absolutely blew away the charts. It was just insane in March. Now expectations were for a rise from 23.1 to 23.3. But according to the Fed, it jumped by the most ever to 51.8. So a number of 50 here would denote expansion. And so for it to jump from 23.3, which was the expectation, to 51.8, this is insane. It's the highest level going back to the oil crisis in 1973. Now new orders, they rose to 50.9 versus 23.4 on the last print. Employment, it rose to 30.1, which is a terrible reading, versus 25.3 on the last print. Shipments, they were up to 30.2 versus 21.5. Delivery time rose to 29.5 versus 15.1. Inventories, however, they've fallen to 12.1 versus 20. Now this is interesting because what we're hearing from a lot of companies is the issue is supply. There is some serious supply chain disruptions that are still very present, and they are just popping up all over the economy.
Supply chain disruptions. I got a subscriber by the brother goes by the handle of Flozell Hall on my council Christmas video that I did, I believe, yesterday. He made a statement. It says, my job deals with a lot of metal and wire. It's getting hard to get it. Now I remember going back about 4 or 5 years ago, Dr. Colonel William Mount, which he just disappeared off YouTube. I believe that he's on other outlets now, or maybe he's going by another name. But he was showing you how up in Washington State and in California, he was taking his camera and showing you the seaports and how empty they were. You know how he, you know, told a story about the house that actually had the house that was owned across from the seaport, and how out his front window, you know, you looked in one direction, you saw the water and the rolling trees and hills, and when you looked the other way, he could actually see into the stockyard, when you would see the ship containers, the truck containers, and the train containers that styled up 5, 6, 7 stories high, and how they were 1 story high or 2 stories high, none at all. You know, and how that was going to have an effect on the GDP, and it's showing itself now. It took time, but it's showing itself now. Look at what's going on in the world, man. Look at what's going on here in America, in Babylon. All right? The money is failing. The system is failing, man. And with what was going on with my client, I'm going to read James 5:3. It says, "Your gold and silver is cankered. The rust of them shall be a witness against you, and they shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped up treasures together for the last days." See, no one wants to deal with the American dollar anymore, with this currency. The nations of the world are getting away from it. And the number one nation that uses it, which is America, they're trying to find a way to get around the fact that the nations don't want to use their money anymore. So they're trying to catch up to China with this whole digital thing. Because China went digital first. And China was one of those major nations that stopped using the dollar. All right. Now, and they stopped using it, like, you know, for deals between themselves years ago. Now they're not really dealing with it at all. And there's a whole slew of other nations that are joining unto them. And that's doing major damage here. You got to understand this whole situation that's ravaging America. This was a cover. This was a cover to hide the collapse and the fall of the dollar, and to bring in the new digital system, which is connected to the MOB. Point blank, period.
I mean, in different segments, and a lot of maybe it's just a story. Maybe it's all the story that the CEOs tell their investors so that they don't get spooked every time they see the same thing. So maybe that's why we're hearing it so many places. But either way, the fact that inventories are falling, we see prices received, they rose to 31.8 versus 16.7. Unfilled orders, they rose to 21.8 versus 12.6. The average work week, it increased to 39.7. And the 6-month outlook, it rose to 61.6 versus 39.5. Now, the most interesting part about all of this that shows some real trouble is this surge is driven by this huge spike in prices paid. They actually soared to 75.9 versus 54.4 on the last print. Now, 54.4 is a huge increase in prices, but right now we're surging towards all-time highs. And what this means is the bad news. Now, in the late 70s, during the oil crisis, was the last time that prices paid were ever even close to this high. So we talk about the inflation that was going on in the 70s. Well, guess what? Now you see prices paid, they're back at those same levels, only back then the 10-year yield was around 14%. At the end of it all, we do know Jerome Powell just came out.
So we're in a way worse situation now, right? Because even back then, though, the dollar got you more. The dollar is extremely weak now, okay? And, well, okay, so let's just jump to it. My client, we just gonna call him J Mac. I won't say his name too much because he's pretty known within, you know, the business realm here in Chicago. And I wish I had just recorded the conversation so that I could, I should have just wrote it, you know, so I could have not put his voice on blast. But just write down all the details of what we talked about and how he agreed that everything that I said was true, and he realizes it now. So his business is in trouble, and he needed to get to one of his suppliers overseas. He needed to get 4 million euros, all right, ASAP, all right, to clear a payment so that something could go, and then, you know, I forget exactly what it was, but he needed to get these 4 million euros, and his bank was giving him a very hard time, and he was giving me the reasons why. And so he found out that his bank's head was in Switzerland. All right, so he ended up getting on the phone and talking to these people in Switzerland, and he said the woman told him that that they would be able to do that for him, but it would take a couple of days to clear the money. He's like, this deal is about, it needs to go down now. I stand to lose out on a substantially millions, a big slew of money, way more than 4 million euros. But he needs 4 million euros to secure this deal ASAP. But if he doesn't, he's gonna lose up to 50 million, and that means his company is gone. He's gone. He has no job. He has no money. So he's freaking out right now. But what he did tell me was this: that when he talked to the woman, she told him, well, you know what, there's nothing that I can do for you. I have to wait a couple days for all this to clear, and then we can get you the money, but it's going to take us 3 to 4 days, and there's really nothing I can do. And if that's not good enough for you, sir, you're going to have to go somewhere else. So he freaked out, and he made a couple more, he found out that there was another bank that was willing to help him. All right. And so that's why he's not going to be able to train this morning while I'm sitting here doing this video, and I never left to go meet him at the dojo. It's because of that. And then he told me that he's talking to the guy, and that the guy told him that if he may be able to do this before the day is out, but there's going to be a substantial interest on it. That's how Esau rolls. But he also said that if the digital system were in place already, we wouldn't have these issues right now. And that made he called me right away. So we've been telling you, and we've been warning you, and it made me feel good. This is because he's experiencing this on a small scale himself. This is because he's about to fill his belly. He's about to get paid. Now all of a sudden disaster. It wasn't peace and safety after all. But this is Job 20 and 23. And it reads, when he is about to fill his belly, God shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. See, JM is about to go under. He was like, if this goes through, this is gonna be sweet for me, and then I'll pay you a big lump sum ahead of time, package deals, and not this pity pat pay as I go shit, because that's how he used to do. But this place is finished, man. It's finished, and that digital currency is directly connected to the MOB. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna read a little bit of it. This is because he said if it was in place already. And I've been telling him that all the banks have a digital notebook, and this is where they're headed, man. All right. This is Revelation 13:16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save they have the digital system. The mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. We'll leave it at that. I don't want to say too much because they really target that these days. But how do you think they're going to control this? This mark is going to be digital, and how are you going to control digital? All right. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh by Hashem Shai, by Hashem Rakar. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity. All right. And Shalom.
And other things happening in Israel is we're just, best way to stay on YouTube is just to stick to the scriptures, right? So this is a whole lesson that Apostle Tahar did on Revelation chapter 9. As we're getting just strictly into the word over here, and then, where we can talk about the other things, we just kind of send it over to BitChute. Nonetheless, though, it's these scriptures, man. We have the 100% truth to these scriptures, you know. So, as Apostle Tahar explains Revelation chapter 9, and then I'll pull up some articles and, you know, get some scriptures and close this thing out.
Shalom. Apostle Tahar coming back at you with this truth, giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Kodash. And I'm going to do another breakdown, Revelation, the 9th chapter. And the reason why I'm doing it is because someone at the last video that I did, GMS, Thinking Out Loud, that I put up earlier today, asked a question. So I told the individual that I would do a breakdown on it. So here we are. And that's the spirit too, because there's been a lot of individuals outside of myself, handful of individuals that's been doing breakdowns on the different prophetic books of the Bible. So if you don't know the breakdown or the interpretation of these prophetic scriptures, you can ask, or you can watch the videos that I already put up. Anyway, I'm going to go right into it. Revelation 9 verse 1. And the first angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And the bottomless pit represents Europe. How do we know that? All you have to do is go to Revelation, the 20th chapter, and read the first couple of verses, first 2 or 3 verses. Because the devil or the beast or that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, that old serpent, he came out of Europe. That's Esau. Second verse. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose, remind you, the bottomless pit represents Europe. And there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power. What does the scorpion? The scorpion's power is to what? Use their tail to kill you. Now these locusts that John saw was a battle during the time period of World War I. And the locusts were, they call them dog fighters back then, which were these planes that they had guns on the planes, and they would shoot. You have a guy that would shoot from behind. Now, prior to that, you had planes that would fly up in the sky during war, and when you read about this guy, the Red Baron, he actually had a shotgun, and he would be up there, and if he saw another plane that represented the enemy, he would shoot him with the shotgun. So what they did was they mounted, and then the technology got better as time went on. World War II, you know, the Korean conflict, the Vietnam conflict. You know, now you have these fighter jets. So it says, so that's what the locust is talking about. What John saw was these dog fighters, and they would shoot down at the people, or they would shoot at the enemy side, who would be in the cockpit of the plane, and shoot. And once you shoot the guy, then the plane goes down. So this right here is talking about World War I that John, the apostle, saw, and it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of the Most High in their foreheads. Meaning, these fighter planes, these dog fighters, wasn't shooting at trees and grass, and they were shooting at people. They would shoot at people on the earth, walking on the earth. If they would attack certain towns or cities or villages in Europe, or if they saw an opposing dog fighter, they would fight against it in the air. So it says, but only those men which have not the seal of the Most High in their foreheads. So the ones that have the seal of the Most High in their foreheads would be an Israelite man that will give birth to a son, and that son will give birth to another son, and that son will give birth to another son, and that would be one of us if we are one of the true elect of the Most High. And in other words, if I'm one of the true elect of the Most High, and my father's father's father or my great-great-grandfather was in the midst of that war, he wasn't going to be put to death. Because the Most High had sealed that man, because he was going to have a son that's going to have a son that's going to have a son that's going to be one of the 144,000, one of the elect, one of the 1/3. So no matter what they did, they wasn't going to be put to death. 5th verse. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented. And kill means to completely do away with a race, a nation. Like Esau is not killed off. He's going to be killed off when the kingdom comes. They speak about empires in the past that have died. Yeah, they died because the people of that kingdom were scattered, defeated by another nation, another empire. It says, and to them that was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And that 5 months represent 5 years. From 1914 to 1919, World War I. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. Now, when a scorpion strikes you with his tail, you die. And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from thee. Now, that's referring to in World War II, and even when you go back to the Civil War, you know, in the Revolutionary War, they didn't have the penicillin and the painkillers that we have today. Like if they had to amputate your leg, they would make you drink strong drink, and they would put some rubber piece in your mouth so you can take that pain, and they'd just chop your leg off. So you had guys that lost their legs, lost their arms, and they would be in a hospital bed where they couldn't use their arms, and they would be in such torment and pain that they would want to kill themselves. They showed you that in this one movie. Which movie was that? It was a Vietnam movie. I believe the movie was Dead President. Yeah, it was Dead Presidents. And the brother that played the main character, he had a friend, which I believe he was Italian, and he got injured. And he said, yo, man, just kill me, man, just kill me. And he said, I can't do that, I can't. He just killed me, man. Then he killed him. He gave him a favor and killed him. So these guys that are strapped up in beds, hospital beds, they want somebody to kill them because they can't use their limbs. And they wouldn't allow them to kill themselves because they couldn't. So that's what that's talking about. It goes on to say in the 7th verse, and the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle. Now you have a regular horse that you raise on the farm, and then you have a horse in the ancient world that was prepared for battle. So what did they do? They would put armor on that horse. They would put extra leather on that horse, so that the rider, the way you would get to the rider, you can kill the horse, and then the horse is without a rider. So it was like a war horse. It says the shape of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold. Now what the Germans wore were these helmets that were silver or gold. So John saw it as a crown on their head, which it was a crown on their head. It said like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. The hair as the hair of woman. If you go back to World War I and you check out pictures of the military, German military, they were the higher ranking officers, and I believe most of them, I had a book on that. They would wear that helmet, and on the top of the helmet, the shiny helmet, whether it be gold or silver, it would be something that looked like hair coming out of the top of it. So that's what John saw. And the teeth represent the bullets that come out of the plane. It says 8th verse, and they had hair as the hair of woman, and their teeth, meaning what John saw, he saw the plane, and he saw the man in the cockpit with a helmet on, with hair coming out of the top of the helmet. And they also had scarves because it was cold up there. So this is John seeing this thing happen in the 1400s to the 1900s, and he didn't know what a plane was. He didn't know what the German military was. So he described it the way he saw it. Ninth verse, and they had breastplates, as it were, breastplates of iron, because the planes, the dog fighters were made out of iron, out of metal. And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots and many horses running the battle, because these planes made, what makes your car not make a lot of noise is the muffler system. So back there, they didn't, those planes made a lot of noise. Now a modern plane has a muffler system equivalent to a car. And they had tails like as to scorpions, and there were stings in their tails. That's the gunner. And their power was to hurt men 5 months, because they was in the midst of World War II. Eleventh verse, and they had a king over them, which is the king of the bottomless pit. Now that king represents Kaiser Wilhelm. I believe that's Kaiser Wilhelm the First, if I'm not mistaken. It's either Kaiser Wilhelm the First or Kaiser Wilhelm the Second, which the word Kaiser means Caesar, German way of saying Caesar, which means king. Which, by the way, he was connected to the royal family, so-called royal family out of England. So if you do the research, you look up World War I, and you put in the word Kaiser Wilhelm, because he was a head man in Germany at that time. It says 11th verse again, and they had a king over them, which is the angel. Now, angel just means messenger. You can be a man and be labeled as an angel. That's in Revelation, the 12th chapter, where it says Michael fought and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels. Now, we know that the dragon is not a monster, a sea monster or whatever, that it represents Esau. And the angels represent their troops. It says an angel in the bottomless pit, which is Europe, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, which means destroyer. But in the Greek tongue, he have his name Apollyon, which means destroyer. One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter, which that one woe represents the First World War. Thirteenth verse. It says, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before the Most High, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Now that's also spoken about in Revelation the 16th chapter. The archangels being in the great river Euphrates, which is the Levant, which is the Middle East. And the four angels which were loose, which were prepared for an hour and for a day and for a month and for a year, for to slay the third part of man. And that third part of man represents Esau. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. Now that army that John saw, he saw missiles. You know, he described the missiles as horses. Also, if you go to Joel the 2nd chapter and you read that army, that wasn't talking about a physical army of men, that was talking about the missiles. Because when the missiles come to destroy this place, Babylon the Great is going to come in formation. 16 verse again, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, which is 200 million, and I heard the number of them. Because you have these missiles, but you have multiple warheads inside of the head of the missile. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. Now we know that an actual lion doesn't breathe fire. So the fact that he referred to the heads of lions, meaning the multiple warheads in the cone of the missile, if you will. And out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. That's the warheads. By these three was a third part of men killed. A third part of men represent Esau, because you had three classifications of men on the earth: sons of the Most High, sons of the nations, or sons of men, and then you have sons of the wicked. Esau's system is going to be destroyed. His system is going to be destroyed. Are there going to be Edomites left on the earth? Yeah, because we're going to have to enslave them by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths, for their power is in their mouth and in their tails. The mouth represents the multiple warheads. The tails represent the delivery system, which is the whole ICBM missile. The thing that's going to do the damage is not the missile. The thing that's going to do the damage is the multiple warheads that's going to come out of the top of that missile, the cone of that missile. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. Yeah, hurt to the point of kill, destroy. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, because you're going to have Edomites scattered around the world in different parts of Europe, in Africa, wherever they're scattered, and they're going to see this thing. Because the thing that's ultimately going to be completely destroyed is Babylon the Great, which is this place right here, America. Yet repented not of the works of their hands. In other words, Esau is going to be popping shit, and we're going to come down with spiritual power, and we're going to fuck them up. And the ones that resist will be destroyed, and the rest of them will be shackled up, and they're going into slavery. It says that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. Now, in a nutshell, that's talking about their religion. They're going to run to the Roman Catholic Church and this church and in that church, and they're going to run to them idols. It said, neither repented they of their murders. Esau will tell you in a minute, I didn't do nothing. Nor of their sorcery, nor of their witchcraft. The power that they have is from the left-hand side. Nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. And fornication, the word fornication, you have a spiritual fornication and you have a physical fornication when you commit adultery, and that's what Esau does. Esau doesn't pass laws to criminalize people that commit adultery. There's no laws on the book. The adultery goes on every day here in America. So they don't pass laws on that. And the law of adultery is to put the man and the female to death, the male and the female to death. It says nor of their thefts, because they stole everything. So they're going to deny. But eventually, they're going to get beat down so bad that they're going to have no choice to submit. And then after 1,000 years of slavery, we're going to gather them all together and we're going to do away with them. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.
So, anyhow, you may as well call it what it is, false flag, because they really are ramping this thing up about, these crazy rich Asians, and they are on this, we got to be nice to the Asians, that spread of the Chinese virus, all the shit that Esau said, and yet now they're just moving in for the kill, so another false flag. Stand up, fight back. Atlanta rally decries anti-Asian violence, mourns spa shooting victims. And this whole thing was staged. It's nothing but a fake. You can say it. It's fake, man. But anyhow, this is, one of the cameras here, supposedly, right? So we'll check this one out. New video shows suspect in the recent area leaving. Officials say Robert Aaron Long opened fire at young Asians massage in Ackworth. Eight counts of murder. So nonetheless, though, you know, pretty much, though. And the world's in on this. This is what they're talking about. They're not talking about what's really going on, not with the, you know,
Going to the doctor's
deaths
office.
related. Oh, see? Oh, they're going to promote how good it is to get that injection, right? As people nationwide rallied in support of the nation's Asian American community following Tuesday's killings in Georgia. Well, I could have told you it's fake, but hey, don't say that here. Oh, no, 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 no. A trip to the spa, right. Yeah, I would definitely say that that's to get focus off of things like, here we go, watch, UK announces that certificates say they are not vaccine passports. The UK Government Culture Secretary announced Thursday that C19 verification is coming to enable people to attend sports events and go to the theater performances, but in the same breath denied that COVID Pass are being introduced. Remember COVID Pass? You know, that was a nickname for it. Actually, it was what it was called, you know. They just changed the name, but it's always the same thing, you know. You have to show that you got your COVID Pass, and eventually, man, they're just going to mandate that you have a digital certification. And how's that? Well, you know, this devil's coming down hard, because look at what's happening in my... this is another article that they post. City and county clean up more trash at Reading's homeless encampments. So, you know, they're insinuating that the homeless are hoarders. Okay, I'll admit that they ain't got a home, right? So, where are they going to put their tent? Okay, things like a pot to cook in, you know, a duffel bag full of clothes. Do you have a room for this? You know, no, you don't. So where's it going to be? It's going to be on the ground, right? Okay, do they designate trash cans in the neighborhood? You know? No, man. They just oppress the poor more and more. Another massive trash cleanup occurred this week at the Henderson open space. And you know, the car fire wasn't enough, man. I want to see all of Reading burned, man. These fucking people, man, deserve to be burned, man. Ain't nothing but fucking devils here. And at the Churn Creek Waterway, north of the intersection Old Alturas Road and Victor Avenue, the Reading Police Department Community Work Program operated the homeless camp cleanup with the help of inmates. So, you know, the inmates are helping to clean up the homeless, you know, because it's a war on the homeless. They just ain't calling it. They're just pretty much calling it trash cleanup, you know. Get rid of these hoarders. But wait, there's more. Former FDA Commissioner Costley's social distancing mandate wasn't based on clear science. Oh, you mean that wasn't scientific? It wasn't rocket science? That we gotta stay 6 feet apart and wear a mask and all this horse shit? Which, Fucky said we didn't need to wear a mask. Now he says we need to wear 2 masks. I mean, Fucky, the child molester, can't fucking make it up his mind. He's too busy fucking children. And spreading AIDS and making it a worldwide disease by introducing it through the injections in the gay community. Hey, they're already fucking each other up the ass, so now let's just make it worldwide. And that's what spread the AIDS epidemic. You know, amid the always fear-mongering, always pessimistic, always more controlled demand, always wrong daily headlines with Dr. Fucky and Dr. Gottlieb dared to speak optimistically about the way forward on Friday. We know that the vaccines dramatically reduce your chance on both contracting Crown Royal and becoming symptomatic to the point what you're going to have to do for a bad outcome. And hey, you know, just go to BitChute to learn a bit more on what these vaccines really are doing, you know, because you can't talk about, you know, anything, you have to say that they're wonderful over here. This wonderful medical miracle over here. You have to say it over here. Because you say anything less than that, man, your video gets taken down. So these medical miracles, you know. The Pfizer board, remember, does hedge a little by suggesting those who are high risk should still take precautions. You think? You know, I wouldn't want anything like blood clots. You know, heaven forbid I should get that, right? But wait, there's more. Miami Beach declares state of emergency due to overwhelming spring break crowds. Oh boy. Well, I guess they're going to have to lock everything down again. They weren't practicing social distancing, even though they just showed in the previous article that wasn't even scientific, right? For nearly a week, tens of thousands of people have flocked to the spring break in Miami's as many overlooked the mayor's Crown Royal warnings. On Saturday night, the bitch mayor, Dan Gelber, declared a state of emergency and enforced a new curfew as spring break crowds overwhelmed local law enforcement. So there you go. You weren't practicing social distancing. We're going to lock everything down again. New curfews. Well, this is the new world order. And meanwhile, in the Valley of Yehoshaphat, the Syrian Arab Army in the world's most violent game of whack-a-mole. It is as if the Syrian Arab Army were involved in a giant game of whack-a-mole. Each time it carried out successful operation on one of its numerous battlefields, it gets punished elsewhere. Yeah, because Amalek, the Israeli state, you know, pounds on Syria. So let's take a look at this. See if I can get this to blow up. I can't get it to blow up, so... Oh, wait, there it is. Hold on.
It is as if the Syrian Arab Army were involved in a giant game of whack-a-mole. Each time it carries out a successful operation on one of its numerous battlefields, it gets punished elsewhere. On March the 16th, a convoy of the Syrian Arab Army SAA Elite 4th Division was ambushed in the countryside of Daraa. Despite heavy fire from the SAA, the gunmen were able to escape after killing 22 service members and injuring at least 5 others. The situation in Daraa is quite complicated. In February, the SAA was preparing to launch a large-scale operation to arrest a group of wanted militants in western Daraa. However, former rebel leaders expelled the group from the area and accepted a new reconciliation agreement. The operation was thus avoided, but there has been no cessation of hostilities. The time may have come for another operation in Daraa, keeping in mind the recent progress in actions in the northeast against Turkish proxies who had been smuggling oil. Sure enough, Russian military police also completed their deployment to the vicinity of the ancient city of Busra in the southern Syrian governorate. Wherever a Syrian operation is about to happen, Russian support is always nearby. Meanwhile, the US-backed Syrian Democratic Forces SDF resumed oil and wheat shipments to areas held by the Damascus government. This is an expected result of continuous pressure from Damascus and its Russian support. The Russians even regained control of an oil field and a gas field in nearby Raqqa. This of course comes in addition to the heavy punishment meted out by the SAA to the Turkish proxies in the northeast, who've been exploiting the situation and trafficking resources for Ankara. More than likely, the SDF took the decision to resume shipments 35 days after halting them, after considering the developments of the last several days and weeks. In central Syria, a testament to the progress made in pushing back ISIS is likely the 140-kilometer-long trench being dug by the Iraqi armed forces. Being pounded by both the SAA and the Russian armed forces, ISIS cells are attempting to move into Iraq and carry out their activities there. The Iraqi army is attempting to pincer them and to both stop their movement in that direction and entrap the terrorists. The SAA is making progress on many fronts throughout Syria, and large-scale operations are expected in the northeast. Time will tell which issue is more pressing: the Turkish proxies in the northeast, the terrorists in the central region, the moderate opposition in Greater Idlib, or the insurgency in Daraa.
So now you got an idea on why Damascus was recently bombed. And nonetheless, so, you know, here's another article. U.S. loots Syrian oil resources like pirates, controls 90% of crude reserves. Syrian oil minister, you think? You know, good old America to save the day, right? Americans and their allies are targeting the Syrian oil wealth and its tankers, just like pirates. Syrian Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, Bassem Toma, told state-run and Arabic language Syrian television on Thursday evening. He noted that the cost of direct and indirect damage to the Syrian oil sector stands at more than $92 billion. What happened all through the Syrian war has not happened in any country in terms of preventing us from tapping our wealth resources and at the time stopping basic commodities from reaching our community or county. So again, you know, that's what's going on. But hey, remember, they're supposed to be in quarantine. Well, you know, in quarantine, Miss Alma al-Assad congratulates Syrian mother on Mother's Day. Yes, part of another reason why you can see that Syria is very much targeted in these end days is because, of course, man, you know, they were part of the Confederacy against Yasha Allah, and they celebrate all these wicked festivities, you know, such as Mother's Day, which is really, you know, celebrating the Virgin Mary and all that shit. Big time promoter of the Catholic Church has always been Syria. You know, but nonetheless, though, they're being punished for many reasons. You know, this happens to be the Valley of Yehoshaphat. But hey, I thought that they had, you know, a crown royal, but no, still public. Remember what I said before, you know, that just like Donald Trump had it, you know, he was back in public not very long afterward, right? They got to convince you that it's real, even if it's not real. What you see, you did not see. Here come the men in black. Yeah, and so on. What you thought you see, you did not see, you know. Oh, look over here. Oh, don't look over there, you know. As they, you know, have scatterbrained everybody so much into thinking that it's real when it really isn't. Miss Alma al-Assad congratulated the Syrian mother on Mother's Day, describing her as the key for victory and its gate, the wing of the nation that doesn't break, but rather elevates and strengthens the homeland. And just like, you know, Esau Edom always says they will rebuild, well, we know that Damascus eventually will come to its end at the same time Babylon is destroyed. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this out. You know, you can very much see, though, that things are back to normal. You know, they quarantined and they're okay, you know. 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 6. Then I did consider these things, and they were all made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Then I answered and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall the end be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham to Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob held the first heel of Esau. You know, and this is the key verse that you just can't get around. And no wonder they didn't want this in the Bible. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. You know, Esau has called himself everything else but Esau. You know, the white man, you know, the Christian, the Jew. You know, because he wants our blessing. You know, that's why he calls himself the Christian and the Jew. But we're the real Israelites. We're the real Jews, as in the northern king or the southern kingdom. You know, and Christian was a derogatory term for those of us that followed after Yahushua. We were the Christians. But you see, Esau, the imposter, you know, wants you to believe that he's the Christian and the Jew, and that there's conflicts between the Christians and the Jews, you know, among Esau Edom, because Esau Edom's nothing but confusion, which is another name for Babylon. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. You see, that's just it. We have broken down this confusion, you know. No wonder why they're sending Voclab Malone to talk to the NWA star, or NWA, NBA stars, you know, to pretty much, you know, teach them Christianity, which has been a lie. You see, that hoax has been blown out of the water. Christianity is through. And sweet Jesus, Cesare Borgia, and he ain't there. How long have people been calling upon that name and ain't nothing happened? You know, I've seen lots of people shot to death who called the name Jesus, and it didn't save. So Jesus doesn't save now, does he? No. But rather, you know, as they love to quote John 3:16, you know, the world can also mean a people, you know. So in the world of Yahweh Shai, you know, and Yahweh, for Yahweh so loved his people, because that's what world means, his people. For Yahweh, which is God, so loved the world, you know, because that's the way it reads, that he gave his only begotten Son, and that whosoever, which would be an elect that would follow after him, whosoever shall believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. So who are the real believers? Those that call upon the names Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, that follow him wherever he goeth. You see, they can't get around that. We have woken up as to who we are. We have the true names. And it doesn't matter how many of these bootleg camps try to say that we don't know the name. There's one in particular that says that we don't know the name. And it's not working. You see, we do have the names, you know. So I hope all this has been edifying like everything else, though. I'm going to close it out with another brother who did an edifying lesson. I hope all these lessons I'm forwarding has been edifying. If this does get taken down, then find it on BitChute. I'm on BitChute, and I'm going to be doing a lesson a little bit, and that'll also be on BitChute. Nonetheless, though, you know, that's what I'm doing, so I hope this has been edifying. But then I want to say, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakakadash, Wa Above the Ball. And Barakatum Yehovah Elect. Shalom.
All right. First and foremost, giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakakadash. All right. And double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone from whom I learned from and continuously do. Okay. And a healthy shalom to the brothers that are out there doing the work in truth and sincerity. All right. You know, in truth and sincerity. I'm out here today with the family. Of course, you know, the two children acting a fool, but that happens. But you know, we're just out here and you know, enjoying this beautiful weather and what Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai has created. You know, for us, it's just the foundation of the earth. Okay, so I'm gonna read this. This is Sirach 39, verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out wisdom, all of the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies, okay? Occupied in prophecies, all right? So, you know, I was watching the video Elder Yashawamba did today about, and see, it was on my spirit too, about Christianity, about how they basically just make shit up. You know, they straight up they just make it up, man, as they go. Okay? Take for instance, see that rock? See that rock over there? The scripture says a wise man built his foundation upon a rock. Okay? Salakia. Let me get that. No, I don't have any service. So yeah, a wise man built his foundation upon a rock. Okay? And then what happens? Down over here. Rivers of living water will flow out of your belly. You see? I'm just using this as an example because this is what we're doing, is we're building our foundation upon a rock. You know, unlike Christianity, which is really an offshoot of the Catholic Church and all the abominations the Catholic Church does. I mean, hey, I could talk till I'm blue in the face. Okay? So I'm gonna grab this because this is what's happening. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and verse 2. When they see it, see, because we're standing upon our feet. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they look for. Okay? See, they weren't looking for this, but now they're making fools of themselves, you know, trying to go back over the scriptures. Excuse me. Would you go tell him to stop doing that? Okay? Sorry, Salakia. All right, yeah. So again, Wisdom of Solomon, 5 and verse 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. And see, that's optimally, that's what's happening. Okay, they're afraid of the building of the Temple of David, man. Okay, they're afraid of what is the inevitable, that the children of Israel are waking up and Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to save his people. Okay, that's what they're afraid of. So they're basically making fools of themselves, and hardly, won't bring out any scriptures, man. They just talk. And the scripture said, if any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of the Most High. Okay? If any man minister, let him do it as the ability of the Most High giveth. Okay? This is Matthew 24, verse 14. And the gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world. This is in red letters, right? For a witness unto all nations. Then shall the end come. Okay? Now, has Christianity been taught? Christianity has been taught for hundreds of years. Okay? It's been preached to the four corners of the earth. But the end is not yet, man, because it's a false doctrine. Okay? It's a false teaching. They never really go into the children of Israel. They always just say Christians. Okay? And there were Christians first in Antioch. And they were also called nigger. Okay? Or niger. All right? So I'm going to read this again. Matthew 24, verse 14. And the gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for all witnesses unto all nations. And then the end shall come. Then the end shall come. Okay? All right? So what's happening right now is the angels are holding back the four winds. Okay? They're holding back the four winds. This is Revelation 7 and verse 1. And after these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding back the four winds of the earth. Okay? And those winds is going to be that destroying wind. Ultimately Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. But the missiles are going to come. They're going to hit perfectly. People are going to be what's that scripture say? Oh, their hearts failing them for fear. You see, this is going to happen, man. So they're holding back these four winds until the elect is sealed. Okay, I'm gonna read this from the top. Revelation 7 and verse 1. After these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind shall not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor on any tree. Okay, so this is not the sea, but what you're looking at, is basically a stream. Okay, and it's beautiful, to get out in nature and really, see what Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has created for us. But Yahweh Ratazah, that we were there creating it with him, the first fruits, okay, since before the foundations of the earth, right? Salakia. Okay. Let's get, Numbers 14, verse 18, okay? The Lord Yahweh is long suffering, okay? Hey, don't get in that water, okay? Might be snake there in that grass. But he's long suffering, man, and patient. So we're supposed to wait upon him, okay? As the scripture said. All right, and moving on, I guess I'll do a bit of a walk and talk here also. It's I was speaking on how, really truly beautiful these scriptures are, and how they do comfort us, okay? And what Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has made. You saw that, the little babbling brook, and it's out here. It's a little chilly out here, but whatever. It's all good, it's all good. But when it comes down to it, we are still here in our captivity, man. Okay, and they refuse to let us go. They totally refuse to let us go. And by the way, these are the same Christians. This Christianity, They said they brought the Bible to us, but see, we already had unspoken, or not an unspoken law, but a spoken law, okay? And we knew what we were supposed to do a long time before they got their hands, on our manual, all right? So this is Zechariah 11 and verse 5. Whose oppressors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, okay? And this happens, how many times has this happened, Ultimately, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is the one that's pulling all the strings. This is his movie, okay? But this is what they do. Whose oppressors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich. You see? Because they do that. And their own shepherds pity them not, okay? And their own shepherds, they pity them not, man. This is not our rest, man. This is not our rest, okay? And that's what they're doing right now, is they're telling you, hey, you guys take that jab. Here we go again. All right, Micah 2 and verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not our rest. Why is this happening? Okay, well, yeah, anyway, I'll just do it like this. This could arise ye and depart, because this is not our rest, man. This is not our rest. And 2/3 of our own people, think they're at rest. They think that that everything's going to continue like it is, or it's going to go back to normal. No. No, Esau Edom is the devil the Bible speaks of, man. Okay, it's not going to go back. It's not going to go back to normal or how you like it, man. Okay, it's going to get worse. All right, and Jacob's trouble is coming soon. If we're not already in the beginning stages of it. Okay, so it is cold out here, but it's beautiful. All right. All right, yeah, back at it again, man. Didn't have any service, so I couldn't go on, but the scripture won't stop till you drop. All right. So I was going into about our captivity and how we're still here, and how they they sold us and expected us just to go along with it forever, and sort of like they were never going to get punished or paid back for this, man. All right, so this is Baruch 3 and verse 8. They're going to get punished and paid back for this. There's a recompense for everything you do. It's a recompense for it, man. Okay, Baruch 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. You see, where they have scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments. Okay, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our father, which departed from the Lord our power. Okay, so yeah, they had departed from the Lord our power. All right. Well, I'm about done anyhow. Okay, this is Matthew 15 verse 24. But he answered and said, okay, not everybody. See, Christianity says they say that just the Christians will be saved, just the Christians. All right. And the video the elder did, he went all the way in like he always does, but he went into the rapture, right? Which you're not going to find that anywhere in the scriptures, and especially how they explain it. It's very strange. Okay, it's very strange. Like I said, they just make things up. So this is Matthew 15 verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. All right, and that wouldn't be everybody. You all right? You good? Okay, that's definitely not everybody. All right, and there's a multitude of scriptures that say so. All right, so let's go back. Yep, let me read this one more time and I'll be finished. All right, this is Zechariah 11 and verse 5. Whose oppressors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Okay, so giving all praise to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakodash. All right, Shalom. Wa Abba Babal.